This is the manly chart. Because this is an engine. And we are supposed all to be seeing ourselves that marketing is engineering because it's about steering objectives into actions that create the objects at the end. And what happens is that every desire has something against it. But you see, the whole reason why this is a session and not a recession is because you can turn everything around, because that's how time happens. And that's how the golden rule made everything. So literally, in our mind, you can turn something around. And this is something we can learn from judo. If a person comes and attacks me, I don't stop him. In judo, it's like NASA uses the orbit of the Earth, and you do that. What happens is if you use the force, the negative force of the situation, you can always anchor yourself into something that you have that situation doesn't have that will benefit both. You don't fight it, and you turn it around. And so what you do is that you analyze yourself with honesty and not judging, so that you get an X-ray for real of what the company is doing and not doing. And you try to do your best to do that with the category and your competition. And when you find that absolute zero, you've actually found economic and cultural irrelevancy or relevancy. Because life has an adhesive, and when you stick, you live. You don't stick, you're left in the past. That's what happens to that poor bug when you're in the car. She's clinging to her life. But we're supposed not to be doing like that. We're supposed to be looking forward and turning things around. Had that fly been looking the other way, maybe she would have used some air current. So it's not about running away. So, to turn around barriers and anti-objective with understanding of the action-reaction. And this is not only healthy for a company, it's healthy for a human being. Because if you take care of your actions, guess what happens in the future? There will be a reflection of your present actions, because things evolve, and at some point, they're out of your control. As things connect through social networks like Meng, people who are here, who might be paying attention or not, that talk to some, and it goes out of your control. So you better make sure that all your actions are based on thinking that the evolution is what's important, not the revolution or destruction of what we're living, that we're supposed to rise it. So that's, if a company knows that the whole universe wants to operate like that, guess how a company should think to grow further? It should obey these laws, and some do already, and they rock and roll about it. It's just that we never thought about it like that, and we're like, damn, I can't believe we didn't see it like this for the longest time. But we're lucky that we see it now, and so now we want to share with some people that maybe we have some more in common, and maybe we can create the next company that thinks like that. So we can be the next establishment. Because, and this is the beauty of this, is that this is a knowledge that man has been toying, and it's almost like if man said, this is beyond me. This is the whole universe. And that's why action, reaction, and verse and reverse. The good thing is that this is not a recession, it's a session, because the universe does not want to go in reverse. Or else we will call it, I live in the reverse. And I will be getting smaller instead of growing, and I will be talking backwards instead of forward. But because it's called a universe, things happen all the time. So we better not fight it and start using marketing and science more closely together, because this is physics, what we've been talking also, and this is geometry, and this is algorithm, and this is computer programming, and this is cloud computing, and this is policy making and government and culture and economy. Everything works by these rules. Here's a little inspiring, put on your wall, I feel good about life thing that maybe you can ponder a little more on. That when you have a thought, there is such a thing as faith and hope. And it's the amount of energy that you dedicate to this vision that you have in your mind. And that this faith and hope that's powering this thought goes to a process called objectives recontextualizing themselves with information that we have that's turned into new knowledge to match the objectives, that then starts a chain of event that we call progress. As we hold this vision dear to our hearts, with all the technology and all the thought that we can give it, it becomes an object. Well, guess what? Memories are made like that. Because before this was a talk and it reached your ears, might as well be that noise. Because the words that I spoke were noise until they enter your absolute funnel that has a zero, and then went to your absolute zero, which is your brain, and then it became words that mixed appropriately with your thought, because I've seen some people either yawning or saying yes, but it's like binary, so it's kind of nice. Has a beat, the crowd. Nice crowd. I always want to say that. And so what happens is in your mind, new thoughts are made, and guess what? It has to go out another absolute zero, and this is the trick of viral marketing. I have to communicate. Energy comes in, mixes with my energy, and it becomes bigger energy. Is the magic of life and the magic of marketing, that things grow when they're excited. Means that they go from one state to the other, from noise and a lot of crap that I can say, to thoughts that you might having about what I'm saying, or maybe what you're going to eat tomorrow, and then what you're going to say at the end when you come out, and everything went to a zero, and if everything travel in time, and everything will become space, because voice vibrates in time, in waves. I love clapping. If you need even more, because what we do at Narrativa, we build planning tools. And planning tools are conceptual tools for you to wrap around complex information. And because we're about joy and not fear, we make it simple. So it's about conquering the fear, what makes big business make big decisions that make big implications in society. And that is an eclipse of the sun by the moon. And it has the same form as this. And this is how we see light. This is a cranium. And this is our binary or binoculars vision that we really call stereoscopic, but before it's stereo, it's binary. And it's reflected in the back, and our eyes are almost identical in function and form to an eclipse. So that should give you an idea of how tied we are to nature. Just because we do marketing doesn't mean we don't exist in the universe. Au contraire, like Voltaire would say. We live in this universe, and we are relevant to the universe, or else we become extinct. So we better do relevant stuff with our marketing so that it grows humanity to the next level. That's all what we're trying to say. But don't worry, we've been doing it for the longest time. So we have some masters to learn from, and it's called culture and memory. Culture is an artificial memory so that we don't forget what we've done at the height and at the depth of our history. So that when we recontextualize, should I drill something in the Gulf? We'll think of what we're living today and better have new knowledge that use new technology, so we don't have to relive what we're doing right now. We learn new knowledge, and knowledge is a beautiful word. It means the edge of what we know. Just like Columbus went to the edge of what we know. Knowledge grows in time and space. Look at Columbus and look at your thoughts. Just like we know the edge of the sun by contrasting the shadow of the moon with the light of the corona of the sun during a solar or lunar eclipse, that's how we learn. Check out how we learn. Your opinion with my opinion, if we don't judge and we're honest, we see the difference. And when we accept each other and know the difference, because we're analyzing the data, if you're a company, without lying, without trying to hide your agenda, really saying the truth, you see contrast. And through contrast, with old information, in contrast with the situation in the present, we create the future. And that's the trick of the absolute zero. And that's the trick of the human mind. That's how we envision things, and then we walk into our visions and we live in them. That's what Narrativa is trying to share with you guys.